All right, everybody, welcome to episode 157 of our Player Animecast. I am your host, Spire, and we are actually, I don't know. The reason why I said I don't know is usually I talk about the weather, right? But I know it's cold outside, but I actually don't feel it because I have the AC on to 72 degrees right now.
But
So it's actually pretty
this
decent for
guy
me.
and his AC in
I
fall
apologize.
time. You mean heater?
Yes, heater, excuse me. But I do have it on, so I actually don't feel as much of it right now. But we are in mid-November, heading straight, barreling straight towards our winter season, but not before we obviously wrap up this season. Um, my feelings on this, honestly, I almost don't want to wrap up this season because this season has been one of the best seasons of anime or like the lineups that I've seen in quite a while. So I'm almost loath to leave it. There's a lot of series in here that are really good, and obviously we're going to be talking about more of them. And this and the next episode before we go on to the previews. But yeah, again, I'm Spire, and here are my compatriots. Sorry for not introducing you guys earlier. Near,
Hey man.
Dark,
Hello.
and Toast. Toast is dead.
Eh.
Yes. So everybody's here with us today. So let's get right on to it. Dark, how's your past 2 weeks been?
Pretty crazy because of work, and they're not gonna let up anytime soon. Anytime soon. I mean, just this week and kind of like the beginning of next week. But you know, other than that, just been keeping up with stuff.
Right.
Keeping up with like what I've watched. Akadama Drive continues to be pretty fun.
Yeah, it's actually pretty fun. Yeah, I actually started watching that.
Yeah,
It's
the
great.
way I approach it is I'm just like, it's like
It's a little bit more like Blood Blockade Battlefront than it is like, I guess, than it is like more like a weird like again cyberpunk like thriller kind of dystopia thing. Right.
Yeah, I mean, I also, as far as like tone and just like what to expect from the series, the way I approach is I'm just like, yeah, it's fucking like off the wall stupid, but it knows it and it pulls it off like fucking
It
think
focuses
like
on that.
Fast and the Furious. Like that sort of like tone. It's like, but none of this makes sense. Like, yeah, it's not supposed to.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
yeah,
not the
the
point.
doctor can get like her head cut off and she's stitched it back together. It's like, well, why? Because she's a good doctor. Like, don't think too much about it.
But yeah. Anything else other than Akadama Drive? I know again you've been getting a little bit more into the lighter series recently.
Yeah, I'm in the middle of watching Maoujou de Oyasumi because I forgot that the podcast was tonight and have been just playing Call of Duty Black Ops all day. So, thank God
Geez.
for Voice Meter, so I cannot have any of this audio playing on
Geez.
stream, that is.
Anyways, so you'll be able to tell us a little bit more about one of those series. I've also watched some of those lighter series as well, so I'll be able to kind of chip in for the discussion. Anyways, Near, what about you?
How about that election, huh?
Ah, yes.
Wow, that's good
Yes.
stuff. Yeah, I've been keeping kind of busy, just following, you know, the news. Um, I kind of stopped playing Shadowverse lately. Um, kind of
That's a
just,
good thing.
yeah, I kind of just got bored of it. I'll probably come back, soon because they're starting to reveal the mini expansion cards. Some of them look kind of cool, but other than that, the new Call of Duty came out. It's kind of fun. Um, been playing Final Fantasy 14. It's kind of fun, you know, the huge. Keeping up with Higurashi, which we'll be talking about later.
Yes,
Um,
yes. We do actually need to talk about that a little bit more in detail because obviously it's a big series, but the way it's been, I want to say reboot, right? It's a little
The
bit
reboot
Uh,
sucked. Don't watch it.
I mean, it's like
a player's outfit. Yes.
they
What
all have
else?
glasses now.
Oh yeah. Also, Mori Calliope was on Trash Taste, and I only watched that episode. Because that's sorry guys, that's the only one I can stand really. I watch the clips if they appear on my feed though, but not full podcasts like that.
What do you
It
mean you
was
don't love Epic for fucking anime YouTubers?
to be fair to Giguk and Joey, they're fine. They're they're they're
I
they're
wouldn't say
they're, they're
that.
the they're the old guard. They know what's up.
The old.
They're fine. Connor, he's okay, I guess. He's the straight man, but they Calliope could have definitely collabed with worse AniTubers.
Yeah, like us.
And should I say their names? No,
No.
but yeah, they're fine. They're fine. Connor wasn't much of a downer as I thought he would be. Joey with the hentai question, I'm like, oh no, don't do that. But yeah, it's fine. It was a good
that
one.
podcast is not
You could tell Calliope was nervous during the first hour or so, but then she opened up. So it was good. If
Okay.
you're a Hololive fan, I guess you should watch it. If you're a Trash Taste fan, you should definitely watch it. Yeah,
I mean,
it's pretty good. I
if
watched
you're
it.
a fan of the podcast, if you should probably watch that podcast. I would assume yes.
Yeah. Can you believe they didn't get Gargura on the podcast though? That's so unfair to her 1.34 million subs.
Anyways,
Yeah, don't worry. She's on ours next.
You want me to ask?
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, dude. Go,
Yeah,
go
boy.
for it. Don't tell him at the part when I said I don't really like any of them.
Don't worry, I do. That's all that matters.
Anyways, did you watch any anime these past 2 weeks, Toast?
I watched Heaven's Feel.
Besides that,
I watched the what is it? Build Divers Battle Log. That was cool. Dark, did you watch that? I linked it.
I haven't finished Redive yet, dude.
It's so who
I'm
cares?
like 2 episodes away.
This is the fan service one where they're battling in famous fan. What is when was it a fan poll on what
Oh,
next
yeah.
they're
I
gonna
forgot that's what the battle logs are.
Yeah, it was good. Good. You should check it out. 11 minutes. Gundam Info has it. I think I'll watch it again right now. Yeah.
Okay, so pretty good. And I guess for me, I wasn't really up to too much. I watched.
Tell us your political asides, Fire. How do you feel about this upcoming election?
yeah, and the
Upcoming
upcoming Civil War.
Yeah.
Wait, you mean
It's not over yet. You
Yeah,
know?
it's
Yeah.
not over yet, dude. You can still win.
Hasn't
we're
conceded
we're in this
anything.
timeline?
Yeah,
We're in
he
this
hasn't
timeline right now?
conceded.
He hasn't
It's not over
conceded
until he
anything.
admits it.
It was all right. Listen, I'll get back into it later. It was so fucking funny that he actually like got upset that people fucking had a hashtag trending on Twitter. Like it finally happened, and he got pissed. That shit was hilarious.
I mean, my politics should be relatively clear from the types of comments I've made throughout this podcast. I won't really comment on it too much, but
Yeah, Spire
Yeah,
flies the
basically,
QAnon
you're a
flag.
communist.
yes, I am a known communist freak. But anyways, in terms of these past 2 weeks, I've gotten back into doing more translations, a little bit more real life stuff. kind of being able to balance my life back again. Watched again some of the slower anime series. And I've also wanted especially since it's winter, right? And obviously I'm gearing up for Thanksgiving, Black Friday kind of stuff. But more importantly, I'm waiting for snow and winter to come. And so I've been really raring to kind of spare time to get into a winter visual novel like Yukikoi Melt or Amakano or whatever it is, right? Or even Amagami, because Amagami happens during a lot of Amagami happens during the the winter season. So I was kind of looking forward to that. I just for some reason I couldn't find enough willpower in me to do stuff, and recently I've been seeing some messages in Discord about visual novels being translated, and I started thinking to myself like, how do we get to this timeline where how before a lot of people, I mean, there was a lot of criticism when visual novels and stuff like that came out. I mean, half of them, actually, most of them were still pretty decent. But even when one or two visual novels came out and they weren't perfectly up to par. For instance, If My Heart Had Wings, right? Do you remember that year?
Yeah.
The translation debacle that happened when it initially came out, and the uploader on the torrent site for that game was literally said in the description, "If you like the English language, don't download this." And he
Yeah.
was the uploader. Yeah. So
Was it MTL? I love MTL.
I don't. It might have been MTL, or it just might have been just terrible.
It
in
was
general.
either MTL or it was like
was really
MTL
bad.
with like editing,
Yeah,
But-
yeah.
Yeah, it was not good.
It was bad, and everybody sort of in the community sort of gave them shit, right? But how did we come to this timeline where essentially nowadays the visual novel people are almost the best source of translations? You know what I mean? Light novels and stuff, web novels are sketchy, manga translations can be sketchy, even anime stuff, Crunchyroll, whoever, can be pretty sketchy. I don't need to talk about, for instance, like VTubers translations, so on. So it's come to this that visual novel translations are actually the most trustworthy, and I never expected things to get this bad, but here
It's
we
the
are.
old guard, dude.
It's the old guard, the people who waited 8 years for Majikoi Miyakura
Yeah.
to finish. But yeah, I've been trying to get into a visual novel, and I might get into Yukikoi Melt soon. I don't know. I have to see. Well, then I've been watching a couple of slower series, and I'll be talking about that again this episode, right? So, yeah, that was my past 2 weeks, and I guess without further ado, we should get into the reviews. First, Toast.
Huh?
What do you have for us today?
What? Oh, what did I
Yeah.
watch?
Yes.
I watched. I don't remember the title.
Kamitachi ni Hirowareta
Yeah,
Otoko,
that one.
or By the
yeah.
Grace of the Gods is the localization title.
Sure. I
What is it
I
by?
thought
Is it-
I thought I was gonna watch the other one. What was it? What's the other god one? I messed up.
Oh, The Day I Became a God or
Yeah, that
whatever?
one. But I was like, whatever. Anyway, what about this show? Sucks.
Really? Oh no!
Really?
Didn't you say it sucked at the beginning when you were
What?
at the
No, I thought you
previews?
said it. No, you said it. No, this is a different one that was all right. There is another slime one or
Okay.
something or similar that does suck,
Isekai
I
one.
think.
Right. No. That Slime Tensei is good. This one sucks, is what he said.
No, I thought you
Right?
said
Which
this
one's
one's
Slime
pretty
Tensei?
decent.
What?
Slime Tensei is the one with Rimuru, right?
Did you know
Yeah.
season 2's coming up? You ready?
Yeah, pretty pog. But yeah, no, didn't you say this one was pretty good?
Dark, you can't say that anymore.
Can we? Hey, Toast. Can you cover what happens within the series, please?
You Spire, you like shit?
Oh, I know
Is
where this
this-
is going.
Is this how? Oh, is this because of what happens in these series? Like,
You like
is like
shit,
toilet cleaning?
Spire?
Does he make the
You like an
slides?
entire episode and a half dedicated to cleaning shit?
The thing is, though, with a lot of these isekais, that has become like a recent, not a recent one, but in the past 5 years, I want to say, has become a standard chapter filler for a slower life or slow life or slice of life ish feudal fantasy slash medieval fantasy isekai, because that's the whole thing, right? One of the whole alongside, oh man, what do Japanese people have to eat for compared to these stupid medieval people, right? They Japanese people have to have rice, bro. That's one subject, and the other subject is something like, um, oh, they have to have clean beds and they have to have clean clothes and they gotta have shampoo or soap for their bodies. They gotta have the hygiene, and then
Don't forget they gotta bathe and they gotta have hot springs because that's totally a Japanese thing.
yeah, exactly. Washing your body is a Japanese thing, okay? Nobody else ever has done that. But
I
stuff
mean,
along.
humanity has roots in Japan, so
Yeah, that's true. uh,
It all
yeah.
originated here.
So part of that sort of hygiene shtick that usually lasts for, I want to say, 2 to 3 chapters, a little bit, maybe one more if it includes like multiple things, right? Including the shampoo and the soap and everything else, right? One of those things is making the toilets, right? So this is part of what Tosa's talking about.
So yeah. Let me start from the beginning. So there's this dude. He dies because he was working at a black company, and he wakes up, and three gods are like, "Hey,
Hey,
this world is connected to your world, and our world is lacking mana, but Earth has all this mana apparently. So what we do is we drill a hole from our world to your world, and we steal one person, and while we do that, we also siphon some of Earth's mana every so often, keep our world alive." And I'm like, okay, but what's the real reason? Then the real god, he's all like, it's an isekai. This is a cliche, This is an isekai cliche, so we're gonna reincarnate you in the other world. And I'm like, okay, you gonna throw that out in the first episode? Okay. That's the thing. I sure love it when they start off with, oh, this is an isekai cliche. Go on and live your slow life out in the wilderness,
the thing
because
is,
the main character's backstory really doesn't matter. But okay.
How do you think that? I mean, it's always nice to have a more unique start to these isekais, or to really any story, right? It's a good thing to have a unique story. But what kinds? There are obviously a whole bunch of standard crutches that exist now in slow life isekais, especially like the feudal high fantasy style. Again, there's the hygiene, there's the creating the Japanese meals, there's what is it? Maybe bed or introducing what is it? Crop rotations or whatever, right? Stuff like that. There's a whole bunch of these things. If you had to list like 2 or 3 of them, what would you say are the most tiresome? You see them in
Right
any isekai
there.
and be like,
I don't want them to say I don't want them to drop the title right in the middle of a chapter. I don't want them to mention the title chapter at all in the series, and I don't want to hear the words cheat skills in another world. Okay, don't you dare say that straight up in the series, because that tells me, okay, this is low effort.
Yeah, that can definitely get to be a
I mean,
little bit obnoxious.
it's like when they drop it's worse than when they drop the name of the movie in the movie. Okay, you got to do it tastefully. I don't want to hear the guy saying, okay, I've isekai'd into my game. I own a spaceship, And I just wanted let me look it up. Give me once. There we go. Yeah. He gets isekai into a spaceship and then he finds a bottle of cola or something. And he's all like, wow, I sure love cola. This makes me miss my homeland of Japan. So
The
then when
land of cola, as
so
we
when
all know.
when he's drinking his cola, he's like, damn, I got the strongest spaceship in the game, so I'm gonna become a mercenary just so I can buy a house, just so I can buy a detached house and land. And he says that directly in the series, and guess what? That's the name of the series. When I woke up, I got the strongest equipment and a starship, so I went and became a mercenary in order to live as I please while aiming for a detached house. It's like, okay, you don't gotta be that specific. No, it's just pretty much a pet peeve of mine nowadays. Like even the worst isekais that came out so far have not really said, you know, done a title drop or were cheat with my cheat skills. The only one I think did that is like Isekai Cheat Magician, and that one's really bad. So yeah, where was I? Oh, yeah. So the dude reincarnates 8 years old because you can do that. Doesn't matter. Lives in the forest for 3 years, and he's a slime tamer. And the thing about slimes is slimes have unlimited evolution potential. Yeah. Whatever you feed them will determine what they evolve into. So, you got your regular slimes, your elemental slimes, acid slimes because they eat acid, poison slimes, sticky slimes, sticky thread. But he's developed 2 new slimes, unprecedented in the world. The scavenger
The fuck?
slimes, which eats poop and garbage waste and whatnot, and cleaner slimes which eat grime and filth. So good for him. He made slimes that eat poop and clean poop because he's a typical Japanese man. You gotta live. You gotta be cleanly and all that. Then he gets found by this Duke family because, well, sure, why not? Gotta advance the plot a little. He gets taken in, and one of his first jobs is, hey, you've got these 2 new cool slimes, right? Clean the toilets for the entire city. Or no, the first one is this cat girl's got a stinky house. She's looking for an adventurer to clean it up, and he's all like, damn, okay, I'll clean it up because she lives next to a landfill. So he sends his poop slimes in. They eat the poop, and then he cleans it. And she's all like, "Wow, thanks." And
How
this
much?
leads
How
and
much
this leads
of?
to
How many episodes does the whole poop take?
1.5.
Okay.
Half for the cat girl, and then the next one is, oh, we saw how well you cleaned this cat girl's shithole, so now we're going to hire you to clean the entire city's latrines because I don't know, corrupt government officials. They
Because
don't want to
corrupt government officials.
they don't want to clean the poops, so damn, here you do it. And he's like, damn, okay. And then he cleans the poops. Man, yeah, that was sure an eventful 1.5 episodes.
So this is again episodic, right? It's not like this is like extremely episodic, right? Yes? No? Maybe?
Yeah,
Yes?
yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So overall,
Problem I have with this series,
okay.
there's no end game here. There's no real moving plot.
I mean, there's no
It took
end game
6.
to any of the slow life isekais, really, right?
That's
I
the
mean,
point. That's kind of
are there
that's
any
boring.
slow life isekais that you like though? There probably are, right?
I mean, I there's a bunch and like in anime form. Let's see.
I mean, no, I'm not even talking about
If we're gonna
anime.
talk about I want to talk about anime form because
Yeah,
there's a
sure.
bunch.
Yeah,
There's
okay.
so far animated. Maybe you could count Bofuri as slow life. but at least there's character progression in there, and stuff happens.
So as long as there's character like
As long as
evolution-
there's interesting
evolution.
things happening in the series, then yeah, I'll give it a pass. Both where she levels up, she gets skills, she participates in
Okay.
tournament arcs, things happen, she goes out adventuring. This one, I think, what is it? I'm 6 episodes in. The 5th episode was about cleaning the poops. 6th episode is, hey, we're gonna go fight some goblins. I'm like, oh wow, 6 episodes to fight goblins. Goblin Slayer did it in 1. It's like you're gonna so you're gonna take this long just for interesting things to happen in this series. We're already halfway done. Give me more than that. You know, it's too slow. I don't like it. I mean, some people would like it. I'm
There's
not
not enough
really.
stuff going on.
Yeah, yeah. It's not
By the
enough
way,
is
when you
happening
say
for me to be
say
interested.
there's stuff, I guess you mean like actual, just like it doesn't really matter whether it's specifically like slice of life or like action or not, but you want like actual events to happen instead of being like it takes 3 episodes to clean up poop is sort of what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I get that. I also definitely. Okay. Any last word?
The slime thing is pretty interesting.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think that's been done a couple of times, but I don't think. I mean, a lot of times it's like a very one mini arc shtick, like, oh, I found slimes, and then afterwards they don't ever talk about the slimes again, or like if they do, it's like, yeah, by the way, the village had more slimes later on. And it's like that's it. But yeah,
I do like the thing about slimes have limitless potential. What you feed them will affect how they grow, and that's how he gets all these different types of slimes. But then the main character itself, he's not that interesting compared to the slimes. His backstory is more interesting than what is right now, you know. But then you'd think that in most isekai, how the main character's current self is affected by their past self, him not so much. He's just going going with the flow all along on these types of things. Not that interesting.
yeah.
His only
Yeah.
shtick is the slide. Like, hey, you got this slide, that's cool. And then after that, it's pretty much okay. Then what now? But sorry, buddy, that's all I got. You know,
It's a little bit.
that's that's the author. You got to give me more than that, author. He's got slimes and he can master magic. Okay, cool. What else? What's his goals? To live a slow life. Okay. Um. Sure.
Anything else?
Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not really. Oh, okay. But yeah, this one. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, it's
Well, what else do I gotta say? That's it.
yeah, definitely a little bit unfortunate. I mean, not
Well,
unfortunate, but it's one of those series that kind of
the main
If
character's
you-
boring. His side characters are boring. They're just tacked on. Like, okay, wow, you gotta have the token cat girl. I'll give you that. Okay, sure. But then the other adventure he meets, oh, a dog beastkin. Okay. A dragon newt. Okay. A regular dude. Wow, okay. His adopted family, wow, they're tamers too, but they didn't know about slime potential? Yeah, okay. Then you got your happy-go-lucky random guards that are nice to him? Okay. There's no interesting characters in this series so far. What I'm lacking in this series is a foil so far. 6 episodes in, there's no foil. There's no major villain that's popped up yet. No antagonist. Wow, I mean, you can count the poop arc as an antagonist because there's miasma in the poop, and only he has miasma resistance. Okay, cool. Goblins, yeah, okay. What else? What else you got? Where's your big bad? Nowhere? That's great. Yeah. Sure love this.
Very unfortunate. Oh, any last words?
I'd honestly say skip. Animation wise, it's fine, sure. Music, I don't care. Doesn't matter. I'd honestly say to skip this. But if you like Soul Life Isekai, then who am I to stop you?
Well, if you really like Soul Life Isekai, as Toast said, you might be able to check it out, but probably you might not find it so attractive.
What other? Let's see. Would you count Hachinen as an slow life isekai?
As a Soul Life Isekai?
Would you count it?
Yes, I would.
Really? Even though stuff gets done, and he has a goal.
I mean, I don't know. He doesn't really have a goal. He's just
His
like,
goal was like, all right, I'm gonna become a famous adventurer, and
yeah, becoming
I have no-
famous or like becoming good at things is not really that much.
that's
of a
more
goal
of a
in terms
goal than living a slow life.
I'm going to be the strongest.
But
He fights dragons and whatnot, and hey, I learned magic.
80% of that series is just him like kind of threatening or like talking down or elsewise doing quote unquote statecraft ish stuff, or like kind of sitting in where the other nobles are and being like, maybe these other people are stupid. Kind of like it's a lot
Hey
of
man,
it's like
at least he has a competent party and
I
some
mean, again,
interesting
I'll
side
consider
characters.
it as a slow life. I don't necessarily think that it's terrible or whatever. I mean, I'm a fan of it personally, but I do think that it does count as a slow life because he's not really like, there's no real, as you said, end game or anything like that. It's pretty much just like, yeah, he just wants to be a famous and adventurer, noble, whatever.
I'll still take that way over. Hey,
Yeah,
I'm gonna live a
I'm
slow
not
life.
saying
And
it's terrible. I'm
wait,
saying that
we're gonna compare characters with Hachinen. Okay, he's got his.
no,
he's
I'm
got his-
not comparing anything.
I'm
with
gonna
that.
compare the characters. He's got his party, his balanced party. Good for him. Well, who does Ryoma? Oh, Ryoma's the name of the main character. What does he got? He's got the family girl who's the same age as him. Gee, I wonder why. And she wants to become a famous tamer too. And she picks a cleaner slime as her first pet. Gee, a cleaner slime that can only clean dirt. That's a good choice for a famous tamer family. You know, it's not like slimes are seen as the worst of the tamer series because they're not strong like a dragon. Who else? That's it. Is his yeah, wow, you got one girl out of Hachinen, he gets like three and one dude. Good for him. Honestly, Hachinen, just do it. Stuff happens in that series. They're about average overall, but at least Hachinen, there's more interesting things happening. Even though was it the CGI dragon? Great CGI bones.
Anyways,
Skip the series, really.
yeah,
Watch
yes.
better stuff.
Yeah. Obviously, Toast isn't giving it a thumbs up, so you know
I'll
it's
give it a 5 out of 10.
That's still a decent score, I think, all things considered, coming from you. But anyways,
Wait, 5? Hold on.
5
Did
out
I
of 10
give
for Toast
Isekai
is
Cheat
pretty
Magician
bad.
a 6?
yeah, I guess 5 out of 10 from Toast is pretty bad.
Toast has
now that
like
I think about it.
IGN scoring for
Yeah,
Isekai.
yeah. Usually when he's just like, I wouldn't recommend it, he still gives it like a 7, and you're like,
Yeah, you know what? No, I'll change it. I'll give it a 6. I remember I gave Isekai Cheat Magician around the same score.
Okay,
Isekai
well.
Cheat Magician sucks.
Anyways, thank you, Toast, for covering.
Yeah. Session brings up a good point. Just wait for Kaishu Sekai Healer.
Oh my god, I don't want to fucking read any Western person talking about Kaifuku Jutsu, okay?
Don't
No,
worry,
I
Spire.
don't want to read anything about fucking people being like, there's raping that series? How could honestly that series shouldn't even have been
Yeah.
animated in the
did
first
that get
place.
an anime?
Why they shouldn't have been animated in the first place? But since it did get an anime, I don't want I don't want people talking shit. Okay, Hachimete no Gal fucking ran under the radar, and this shit is like if Hajimete no Gal and Total Over Darkness and everything else ran under the radar, and this thing comes up and people are like, "There's rape in my anime," like, no, fuck that shit. Okay, no, I don't want to hear anything. Okay.
Oh, it's gonna be like the Goblin Slayer fiasco all over
Goblin
again.
Slayer is going to look like fucking Clannad next to Kaifukujutsu. I just want to say that, okay? People thought Goblin Slayer is bad. I looked at Goblin Slayer, I was like, whatever. Like I wasn't even. I was like, okay, whatever. Actually, no. At the time when Goblin Slayer came out, I said to Session and the others, right, that if people reacted like that to Goblin Slayer, wait until they see Kaifukujutsu, right? It's like
At least the rape in Goblin Slayer made sense because these are violent monsters that everyone hates.
I
it was a
mean,
little bit more
also
natural.
I don't know.
I guess.
These are okay.
We had a discussion about it. It's probably going to come up again though, but it's just like,
of course it is.
It's probably used just as poorly for fucking nothing, like for no end game.
No, it's
Yeah,
different.
it's
different because in Goblin Slayer, the monsters are monsters, so you know they're monsters.
Yeah.
But in Kaifuku, the people are
But
monsters.
it's still
society.
It's
still
still
this
something
monster.
it's still something so extreme that it's like, who cares? Like at that point, it's just kind of like, I don't know. It's just cheesy in a way where it's like, yeah, these are monsters, so they rape.
But
the
real monster is
people. Like,
bro.
That's not really something you need to throw out there. It doesn't really increase like the grotesqueness of just like goblins that fucking pillage and murder people. It's like, all right, especially if it's like you don't really,
monster
do anything other than that with it. Like, okay, cool.
Yeah, I just I told everybody when fucking Goblin Slayer came out again, if people in the West react like this is Kaif could just be a
I was waiting for the revenge isekai arc, but you starting out with Kaifuku? Oh boy.
I mean, even
you go from Arifureta to Kaifuku? Oh man, you guys.
Arifureta isn't
I'll
even
clap to that.
Arifureta isn't even a revenge story. It's fucking terrible.
It was until it was not.
No, it wasn't. It was
until it was not.
Yeah, it was until he got his revenge.
He doesn't get his revenge though.
Now it's just a story.
Yeah, that's the point. He never gets. You knew from the very beginning that he wasn't going to get his revenge.
His goal was to get revenge, but then he's like, nah.
No, but if you don't get revenge in the revenge story, it's not a revenge story, right?
It is if he says it is. If it's in the title.
Yeah, if it's in the title, yeah, that's true, Toast. I apologize.
But if he doesn't, it's like, okay.
Yeah. Anyways,
Shield Hero is not a revenge story, even though people thought it was.
Anyways, moving on. That was
just skip this series. Wait for the good stuff.
Moving on, I would like to go next and have a much, I want to say, more positive outlook on my series. Definitely a more positive outlook on my series than Toast did. And my series is Majo no Tabitabi. I believe the localized title is The Journey of Elaina. Or Wandering Witch, The Journey of Elaina is the
I'll
full
actually
title.
put up the picture this time too, because I won't forget.
It is.
Whoops.
What?
Said I'll actually put the picture up this time, and I won't forget.
I can't believe you booted Spire out of the call.
Oh wait, did he leave?
No, I'm here.
Oh.
Who left?
It was just in Discord stuff. But anyways, it became manga, obviously manga adaptation, and it also finally became a anime adaptation under C2C or Challenge to Challenge, I believe is their like name or whatever. They did a bunch of small stuff before, like One-chan ga Kita, Your Mates, Go 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 Nana Go Go Go. A lot of these short series, and then they did the first, I want to say, big series. Big series that they did was Aquarium Logos, and then after that they did obviously one of the more famous series of that season, which is Sukusuka, right? 週末何してますか？忙しいですか？少てもらっていいですか? Or World End, right? So they did that, a couple of other series up to now, and now they're doing Majo de Tabitabi. In Japan, this is a small sort of cult class, or not cult class. Why am I calling it classic? It's not even over, but a cult hit, right? It's very popular.
When did it
although
come
not
out?
mainstream popular. It came out 2016, so 4 or 5
Okay,
years ago.
so it has to be at least 10 years before it's a cult classic.
Yeah, I made a mistake by calling it. It's not a classic. What I'm saying, it's a cult. But yeah,
Well, then again, speaking in anime years, it could be a classic.
Stop.
anime. Toast is talking about anime years
Konosuba
like
is
it's
a
5 years.
Instant classic.
Konosuba is a classic. When did that come out?
Please,
I would
can
not.
we not talk
2017.
about Konosuba? All right. Anyways, talking about Majo no Tabitabi. I want to say this straight up. There are a couple of things that I will point out, like small things that I will point out about this series. But in my opinion, barring, I mean, even those don't really have that much of a significant impact, but I firmly believe that Majo no Tabitabi is one of my contenders for best anime at this season, straight up. It's just the content of it is just I know I should, like, when I first saw this light novel slash manga and I bookmarked it, I knew I should have just read it earlier, but I didn't. And now I regret. This is one of the few times where I watch an anime, I'm like, why didn't I read the light novel or read the manga earlier? This is one of the very few times I regret this. It's just everything I wanted. It's everything I wanted in a series. And so Majo no Tabitabi, about this young prodigy witch named Elaina, and she becomes a witch. She trains under a witch as she trains under another witch as an apprentice for a short period of time before she becomes a fully fledged witch herself. And after she becomes a fully fledged witch at a very young age, she goes out and starts traveling around, right? So she goes out traveling to distant lands, various places. She meets various people, makes friends, makes, I want to say, not necessarily enemies, but leaves leaves them in their place, right? And she sees various stories, and a lot of it's episodic. I mean, each episode, or yeah, every episode is episodic, but oftentimes there will be recurring characters that are coming in. So Elaina, the witch at hand, will be visiting this land, and then she'll meet, one of her fellow acquaintance witches that she made friends with in a previous episode or in a previous sort of chapter, right? And they'll try to solve the problem together, or they'll have this like back and forth or whatever. So it's a very healthy, a very organic way of building the world, right? So it's not just episodic. Elaina visits country 1, Elaina visits kingdom number 2, Elaina visits village number 3. It's not just that. It's the thing where it's like you can you get this sense, you get this atmosphere of it being an actual journey, of this being an actual world that she's traveling in, because it's not like a self-contained set of stories. It's a story, and then, oh, by the way, she visits her friend that she knew from before, or she visits her mentor, or one of her friends sends her a message, and while she's visiting this country or whatever it is, and there's all this connection between her background and her where she's traveling. So it's all interconnected. So it's very good. So that world building is magnificently done, and just everything else also fits in very well together. This is just the journey aspect is very pretty much slice of life. Not excuse me, not a slice of life, but it's very much just journey around Spice and Wolf like medieval. Just see this kingdom, see this country, blah blah blah. But it doesn't have this whole sort of the one of the I don't want to say flaws, but one of the restraints, right? One of the restraints that Spice and Wolf had was that Hollow and Kraft, while they were traveling, they always part of the backbone of the plot was that Kraft had to make money, right? He was just like, I gotta fucking pack these things onto my wagon and make more money. I gotta make this money. Whenever he's going to the village, he's just like, can I trade these products out? And that would sort of become the subject line, right? Of how he interacted with the village or how he interacted with the kingdom or whatever, right? It's sort of like Kraft being the trader was his pickup line at the bar, right? It was the icebreaker. But there's no such thing in Majo no Tabitabi. Elena's just traveling around being like, oh, this is a nice country. And just like traveling around. And I think that really kind of, while it's obviously harder to create pickup lines or just motivations for Elaina to start things up in the country, it removes a restriction in the story of having to kind of follow a certain set of motivations, right? So Elaina doesn't have to do XYZ things because she has to earn money or because she has to become a stronger witch or whatever. She's just looking at the story happen, and it's very, very, very cool. So that sort of exploration part is very nice. I really appreciate that. And then on top of that, each episode is very story-like. Again, a fairy tale story, that is. So it reminds me heavily of Dantali no Shoka, if any of you kind of remember that series, where Dark and Nier, guys both saw Dantali no Shoka, right? Do you guys remember Dantali no Shoka, the library? Yeah. This is the Gainax actually series, right? This is, or was it Sunrise? No, it was Gainax, right?
It was Skynex, yes.
Yes. So the Mystic Archives of Dantalion, one of, I want to say, my absolute favorite series that I have watched. In
the one with was that the library one?
Yes, it was.
Yep.
The Library Girls.
Wow, nerd.
So
why didn't you watch Read or Die?
Oh, that's a little bit. Anyways, so wait, Dark, have you watched it or no?
I don't.
If you haven't, you should watch.
Think so.
It's really good. But Nier, do you remember sort of how the visual aesthetics or the sort of atmosphere of the, right? So every episode was very much like, it was like the main characters were running inside a fairy tale story almost, right?
Yeah.
The setup was very fairy tale, and they had these sort of aesthetics that were somewhat like how Silverlink and not Silverlink, but how Shaft and the related, the Shaft trio of directors did it, right? Where they had the sort of cutouts, like the paper cutouts or the diagrams explaining the fairy tale and so on and so forth, right? At the beginning. And they had stuff like that. And that's also sort of what happens in Majo no Tabitabi. And it just feels wonderful. I don't know what else to say. It just feels so good because that's exactly sort of what I want. I just want this sort of ethereal mysticism on the medieval high fantasy journey that she's doing. So it's not just, oh yeah, we're medieval, bro. Haha. This is another country with swords. This is a second country with swords. This is a third kingdom with, knights and swords. And you're going to go in and you're going to just see these nobles. No, it's a very much is trying to tell a story each episode. It's trying to tell trying to create a fairy tale atmosphere each episode, and it's really, really, really nice.
Isn't it right? Isn't it something about a diary? Most of the episodes are pages from a diary or something.
So it's written in. I mean, at the end, it's essentially a diary, but the way it's narrated is essentially pages from a diary or chronicle.
You know what else was a diary?
What?
Valkyria Chronicles.
Tell us, please. But yeah, so in my opinion, Majo no Tabitabi is just an amalgamation of everything. Just everything I ever really wanted in a just travel around in a medieval fantasy setting, just done perfectly. And the visuals are really good. I don't think there's really too much to be critical about the visuals. The two small things I would maybe like to have seen, but I'm sure I might see one of them later. But one is the music, the opening and the ending are both a little bit tepid. I'm not a big fan of the BGM. If it's like standard, I'm not very impressed by it, but it's very whatever. It's like something that you see in or something that you hear in like a second-rate visual novel or second-tier visual novel. But if it had the BGM and the opening ending kind of something like Dentali no Shoka, this would be best anime of the year for me. Like hands down, it would be best anime of the year.
So
Yeah.
is it better than Kino no Tabitabi? Is that what it's called?
The
That's not what it's
recent
called.
one? That's not
Oh,
what it's
me,
called.
what's it called?
Kino no Tabi.
Yes.
Why not Tabi?
Are you talking about the modern one?
What's the difference between Tabi and Tabitabi?
Tabitabi is just well, so Tabitabi is just like journeys, right? It's just like not just like the singular like journey in general.
Why is it
Right.
called the Journey of Elaina, not the Journeys?
I mean, you'll have to ask the localization people. But anyways, so
So you're saying it's pretty good.
yeah, it's really good. There's one other thing I wanted to point out. Yeah, it's Somali. Somali to Morito. What is it?
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah. If Somali and the Forest Spirit, right? That one, it's definitely on that level. In my opinion, it's slightly better. The one thing I would like to, this is like another like small, like little, not like even a complaint level of complaint that I had, was just like a lot of I know why they do it or why the author does it, but a lot of the times when Elaina visits the country and stuff like that, a lot of it's like there's this like specific problem or they did this, but it's actually not that good. It's a very standard kind of thing in these sorts of novels, in these, I want to say almost magic realism type novels, right? Or postmodernist type postmodernism like magic realism kind of novels, right? And it's like, these good things on these surface level good things happen, but they're not actually that good. And here are the bad things that happen. And in my opinion, that's okay to have, but I would have liked to see a little bit more optimism, happiness, because I mean, yes, what humans do a lot of times is shitty, but I do think that there's obviously also good sides. There's also plenty of good things that humans do, and I don't think that I think that it's a little bit cynical to just be like, to have a majority of the episodes be like, by the way, people think that this is good, but it sucks. That being said, each of the episodes are very, very good. Like the creepy parts really just creeped me out, and the sort of sad parts made me actually like properly sad and stuff like that. And it wasn't just like, oh, the bad nobles were defeated, or the bad nobles did bad things. It was just like the story was very organic for the episodes, and I really enjoyed that. I just wish there was a little bit more optimism, because it's a general like spectrum of the human psyche that's being explored on this journey that Elaina takes, right? And I would hope that the author doesn't consider the entirety of the human psyche to just be like, by the way, you thought this was good, no, it sucks. You know what I mean? So other than those two very, very, very like small nitpicks, I honestly think this series is just really good. I think you should read it as it. Yeah.
But is it better than Violet Evergarden?
Yes, yeah, I think it's better than Violet Evergarden. But
Whoa.
Is it better than what is it? What is it? What is it? Akagami Toshiro Yukihime? What's it called? What is it?
I haven't seen, or I haven't read.
What is that? Is that the one with the fancy weird head guy? Yeah, that's the one.
I haven't read that one yet, so I can't remember.
Wait, no. What's the one with the red haired girl and the bone skull guy? What am I thinking of?
Maotsukai no Yume.
Yeah.
Maotsukai no Yume.
Okay.
The
The one I said is completely different.
I think both are really good. It's just that they kind of cater. It's kind of comparing apples to oranges. Even like Violet Evergarden, I think comparison is slightly comparing apples to oranges. But I think both of them are very good on their own merits. But anyways, my last word on this is that it's very, very, very. It's just, you should read the light novel if it's out. You should read the manga. You should watch this. It's a good series. It's honestly the best series I've watched this year, I think. I'll have to.
I'll
have to like shuffle my. I'll have to rack my brain when we come to end of the year awards. But I really, really, really like. It's just like it's very, very airtight in terms of like not really having like too much in the way of flaws, while still providing, going above and beyond what was expected of it in the story.
All right, do you know the weight of the words that you just said? That's like saying Goblin's Crown is gonna be better than Spring
Again,
Song.
I have to rack my brain to see, at the end of the year to see what's going on. But this like series just hit me on a very like struck some series of nerves on a very, 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 very like base level, and it's just like, this is what I wanted. Like, I haven't felt this way in quite a while. It's very good. But yeah. Anyways, check this one out. It's very good. And with my sort of splurging, raving review over, I would like to turn this down to Nier. What do you have for us?
I watched the new Higurashi.
Yes, Higurashi.
And
is it the same voice actors?
It is all the same voice actors.
Yeah, buddy.
So before I talk about this new one, I feel like I have to go into like the original a bit, because the situation with this new series is very interesting. So Higurashi is sort of like the beginning, I believe, of the When They Cry, like, I guess, series of like visual novels. And it takes place in this small town. And it's got like this surface exterior of like sort of a moe, like happy go lucky series, and then it sort of goes into mystery stuff, and people start dying, people start killing each other, and then it loops. There's a time loop, and then the mystery sort of becomes like essentially what is making people kill each other. There's I forget what exactly they call it, like the curse of what is it called again? Oyashiro-sama, right? Is
Oh
like the
yeah,
god
yeah,
or
yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Like the god that's like living over the town or whatever. Um, and there's, I mean, slight spoilers. It's not really, I guess. I mean, Higurashi's kind of like 20 years old. There's a
Close your
lot of,
ears if you guys haven't
yeah,
heard of Higurashi.
yeah. There's a lot of supernatural shit. One of the characters is possessed by like a fucking demon. That's like forcing them to live like they're like conscious of all these time loops and stuff, and
Mm.
they've been going through it for like hundreds of years and shit. Um, and eventually they break the curse and the time loop stops and everybody lives like fucking happily ever after or whatever.
Right.
Um, and that's about it. Like, right, Higurashi is a very popular. I don't know if I'd say iconic. But it is a very popular series.
Well, it's you don't have iconic doesn't necessarily have to be like massively popular, right? Iconic just
Yeah.
means it
Um,
like if anybody in the anime, like anybody that's like been watching anime for maybe a year plus, or like been kind of absorbing stuff through passive transport or osmosis or whatever, right?
you've probably heard of it.
Yes, you should like your ears should perk up when somebody says Higurashi, right?
Yeah. There's definitely iconic scenes, iconic moments, stuff that sort of made huge waves in like the anime like fandom, especially when the anime adaptation came out by Studio Dean in 2006, right?
That one door scene.
Yeah, the Dora scene, the faces, the bat,
Yes,
all that
yes.
stuff. And so here we are in 2020, and Studio Passion announced, "Hey, new Higurashi project," and they marketed it as a reboot. Um, and so obviously Higurashi fans were very interested. You know, very cool when an old series like this gets some interest breathed into it with a new adaptation and stuff. Um, but then you watch the first episode, and you go, "Hey, wait a minute, this is a little different, huh?" Uh, and you think, "Oh, I guess maybe they're taking some liberties with the adaptation." And then the second episode starts, and it's revealed that this is a fucking sequel.
Oh
Wait,
no, is this a last encore kind of thing?
Yeah, this is the sequel. So again, minor
what the
spoilers.
fuck?
Yeah. So Rika gets possessed
So you
again.
have to watch both, right?
Um, not really. So
Oh, what the fuck?
here's the thing.
Oh, okay.
So like I said before, one of the characters in this series is possessed by like a fucking demon, right?
Yes.
That's like possessing the shrine, and they're forced to live through all these like time loops and shit. And then they break the curse, and then the time loops stop. And then I guess now in this new series, for some unknown reason, um, she gets tossed back in, uh,
Fuck. Okay.
and we don't know why.
Oh boy.
Um, but she's back in the loop, and uh, things are changing. Like the loop is different. So they're going through the same arcs that the original did, very very similar. But at the end of the arcs, there's like a change. Like uh, either like Rika's doing something different, or the main protagonist Keiichi's doing something different. Um, so in the first four episodes, which is encompassing the first arc, um, in the original, at the end of it, um, how does it go? Like Keiichi is like super paranoid about Rena. He thinks um she's gonna fucking kill him, right? Uh, and so at the end of it, like he ends up beating her head in with a bat, and he goes fucking crazy, right?
Uh-huh.
Which is again a very very popular scene.
Not for the course. Yes.
When that happened.
Yes.
Um, but this time, Rika talks to Keiichi before that happened, and she's like, "Hey, maybe you should like trust in your friends more, instead of like, you know, uh, freaking out and trying to like demonize them. Maybe you're just like overreacting and stuff."
Yeah.
And so this time, on the night that like that the event is supposed to happen, he lets her in, and uh, he's like, "Oh, I guess I'm just overreacting, right?"
Mhm.
But instead, this time, Rena kills Keiichi. She fucking stabs him to death like 80 million times. Except, haha, not really. Because at the end of it, he starts like beating her over the head with a fucking alarm clock to like save himself. And he ends up in the hospital. And when he's in the hospital, it's revealed that like after like that weird like twist of events, I guess that like shouldn't have happened or whatever. Pretty much everybody fucking died while he was in the hospital, and nobody knows why. Uh, and then
Okay.
and then the loop restarts, and so the series is kind of weird. Because I feel like it was definitely. I mean, it's obviously a sequel, right? Like they're setting stuff up, they're introducing stuff like way earlier than it was originally. Um, they're kind of like they're kind of just like blasting it in your face, like, yeah, there's supernatural shit going on here, buddy. Like, buckle in. Which, like, in the original, it didn't really do that, right? Like, it slowly introduced like the curse of the town, and then like,
it's
you
kind
know,
of do you think it's a generational contract? No, I don't want to say generational, but do you think it's like a cult era kind of contract? Because it's like before, even with something like Clannad, right? As well as obviously Higurashi and like the other sort of visual novels on of that era, right? Um, there was a lot of sort of like, oh, there's some sort of weird mystery going on, blah blah, right? And then it slowly gets revealed, and then they have to deal with it and all that bullshit, right? But a lot of more modern stuff, right, is pretty upfront about that, right? It's just like, yeah, there's supernatural shit. What you gonna do? There's a lot of that, right? So,
um,
do you think it's like a generational thing, or do you think it's more just like different takes?
I'm not too sure. It's tricky to say. I don't know if it's necessarily a different take, or maybe it's just a different like decision based on like the amount of episodes they have and the
Right,
pacing or
right,
whatever. Because I'm pretty sure, except for like the director, pretty much all of the old staff is on this series. Um,
right.
but yeah, I'm not sure. I think it might just be because it's like it is a sequel, and it seems very clearly like there are so many nods to be like, hey, you've seen this series before, right? Like, um,
Higurashi, bro.
so I do feel like they're speeding up like the pacing, like making it more brisk on like introducing stuff, um, for the sake of that.
Mhm.
But it also I'm not too sure if that's like a good idea, right? Because like the pacing of Higurashi is obviously one of its strengths, right? Like the way it does the time
Builds
loop,
up, right?
the
Exactly.
way it introduces like tiny tidbits of information in each arc, and then like at the end of it, like you have all the information, like sort of when the characters start gleaning all the information too, right?
Right.
But in this one, it kind of feels like the writers were just like, yeah, you guys know this stuff already, so like we really don't need to care about when we introduce it and stuff like that.
I
Um,
mean, do you think? I mean, that's sort of what, for instance, Digimon did, right? If I was to make a sort of weird comparison, right? The new Digimon was also sort of like, yeah, stuff is happening in Digimon. You guys know it's fucking Digimon, guys.
yeah, maybe.
do you
I don't
think? Do you
know.
think that's okay? Like,
Uh,
are you okay with that, or do you think it would be
I mean,
it's
uh,
okay for the general audience?
yeah. So that's the problem, right? Is that I've seen Higurashi, right?
Right. Exactly.
So to me, it doesn't feel that weird for
Mhm.
them to like just be like, oh yeah, here's this information because like I know this stuff already. Um, But I feel like for a new viewer, it's probably not going to be very good. Because like the way they like introduced it, like, oh yeah, by the way, this is a sequel. It's like it's very like it's like bam, like yeah, this character is like super important in the plot. Um, and they've been through this shit before, and they know what's going on. And it's like, well, this is episode 2, bro. Like, uh, but again, I obviously don't exactly have the perspective of a new viewer, so maybe a new viewer will see that and just be like, oh well, this is happening. I'm in for the ride, right?
Right,
Um, so I guess I guess it depends on the viewer. Um, I'm not sure if necessarily it's a good idea. I feel like personally it might. It's tricky, right? Because it's not exactly like the intended viewing experience for the original Higurashi
yeah.
if stuff is being introduced out of order. And especially if stuff is, obviously like being changed in the time loops, right?
Mhm.
So it's a weird situation. But yeah, I'm not too sure because obviously Higurashi is a very old series. Uh I wasn't well, maybe I was sort of expecting just a straight adaptation. But like with just a faster pacing because obviously I don't think they have 50 episodes to work with here, like Dean did. But
It
yeah,
kind of, honestly, it just kind of, like from the way you're describing it, it just kind of feels like they wanted to do, like they wanted to avoid exactly, again, making that sort of remake, but it's like they didn't have any idea what else to do, right? So they pretty much wrapped up as much of the old Higurashi as they can in a quote unquote new story, if that makes sense.
um, maybe I mean you could look at it that way, sort of like oh well, we want to make a sequel to Higurashi, but it's like how the fuck do you do that? And it's like, well, just do Higurashi again.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, well, I mean that works, right? But I don't know. It's weird. Uh, uh, it's definitely weird. Um, I do want to see how like this plays out because this is a 24 episode season. Um, but I'm not sure. I don't know if they necessarily have enough time to like do the whole like Higurashi arcs all over again, or if they're just gonna do like the initial like questions arc, and then be like, yeah, but it's different this time, so we're not gonna do the other ones, and then they're gonna wrap it up or something. Um, yeah, it's very weird. Um, but at the same time, it is cool, right? Because again, I've seen Higurashi before. Um, so it's kind of interesting to be like, oh well, this is different. Something different could happen, or maybe not. It depends on I guess how the writers want to play it. But in terms of like recommendations, I'd probably be like, obviously, if you're new to Higurashi, you should probably read the visual novels.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. That's
because
always good to start.
like Higurashi is one of those series where it's like it's very complex and also very dense.
I mean,
Um,
also the people that are related with publishing this stuff didn't really help out too much with the reducing the complexity. I want to say,
yeah.
right?
Um, yeah. Uh, I forget how exactly they packaged it when they um like published it like overseas, but the games are sort of paced in a really weird way. Um, but it is definitely worth reading. Um, I think Higurashi is a very good like series of visual novels. The art, um, for I think for like the Steam releases, the art is updated.
Mhm.
Although you do have the option to going back to like the old original art, which to be honest looks like shit. Um, but it's a good series. But for this new anime, I feel like it's largely for people that already know what's going on.
Mhm.
Obviously, the writers like wrote it in a way to where it's like, well, if you don't know what's going on, then you can obviously digest like what's happening, and they're going to tell you what's going on eventually. But I feel like for the best experience, it's probably ideal.
Yeah.
Well, or at the very least, watch like the Dean anime. Um,
To
even
get
though,
a hold of
even
it.
though the Dean anime, it doesn't look too great. But it does have its like nice. It's got a good tone. It's got good pacing. Um, all the voice actors that are in this new series are in the original Dean anime.
Mhm.
Everyone's reprising their roles here, so it's like you're not really exactly going to be lost from one to the other.
Right.
But yeah, I would highly recommend going back, getting like a clearer picture of like or I guess original vision, and then coming back to this and like see the changes and figure out what the fuck is going on with how exactly this is a sequel, but not really question mark. I don't know. Um, yeah, it's weird. It's really weird how they decided to do this, especially because like they marketed this as a reboot, right? But
Right,
then
right. That's the most confusing part, in my opinion.
yeah, but then like in the second episode, like they reveal like the full title or whatever, and it's like Higurashi when they cry new or whatever, like um, and it's like I understand like doing the whole like marketing deception thing because it's like yeah, you don't exactly want to like be like hey, it's a Higurashi sequel, but like all the same stuff is happening. It's like, well, that doesn't really look great on the
Right,
marketing side.
exactly.
Um, and obviously, Higurashi is very like mystery focused series, so it is understandable to do like the whole marketing deception thing, but it's a little weird. Um, but yeah, in terms of like visuals, it looks solid. Uh, it's kind of hard to like not compare it to the Dean anime, because that's like that was obviously insanely popular when it came out.
I mean, that's part
Um,
of yeah.
yeah. Uh, I feel like so obviously this looks like technically better than the Dean anime. But the Dean anime did have sort of a formula to it, right? Where it sort of got into this like visual rhythm where like there were colors used like when it was the evening or when it was the night or when it was like the day when they were in the school, like like these were like drastic like color palette shifts. um
Mhm.
and I feel like this new series doesn't do that as much, which is sort of unfortunate, but I guess kind of understandable. um and the scenes where the characters sort of like lose their shit and start fucking killing each other,
Right.
um their facial expressions are a lot less like there's less of a like obvious visual shift in character, you know what I
Oh,
mean?
it's less characteristic. So
Yeah, so in the Dean anime when like a character is sort of broke, like
right.
they're
Exaggerated.
yeah, like their entire like visual profile like changed. Like they
Right.
were they were a different person. And in
They
this
fucking
one,
became the Joker, essentially.
yeah, in this one it's not quite the same. Obviously, the eyes change and they have the big smile, but like I feel like in the Dean anime, maybe I'm misremembering, maybe I'm just like looking back at rose tinted glasses, but I feel like this their stance changed, how they moved was like totally different. And even like the shape of their face, like
Right.
it was like a complete shift in like who they were, which was very cool.
They're
um
very characteristic.
yeah.
So
uh but feel like this series doesn't do that as much, which is sort of unfortunate, but it is solid. all of the music, yeah, at least all the music I noticed in the first 2 episodes, um, especially in the first episode, is it's all music from the original Dean anime, which is very cool callback. It's the same composer working on this series, um, Kenji Kwai, and
Oh.
obviously he's very good.
Mhm.
In the first episode, at the end of the first episode, they reuse the OP for the original anime series, which is a really cool callback. Um, yeah, the music's quite good. Overall, I mean, it's a solid series so far. It's interesting. Higurashi is a good mystery series. Hopefully, like they can do an interesting twist on this since it's supposed to be a sequel.
So, what
Um,
would you recommend to people just coming into Higurashi now? Would you tell them to go watch the visual novel or what?
I would say, if you're up for it, like definitely read the visual novel, right? Because it's totally worth reading. But like I don't know if you really don't have like any patience at all, and you're just like, yeah, I want to see what the deal is with this Higurashi series. Is like I don't think there's necessarily like really any harm in just jumping into this because again, like it has the same like basic premise, right, of the time loop and you know figuring out the curse and stuff like that. Um, but I do feel like as this series goes on, it is going to diverge more and more um, from like the original just story, right?
Right.
So again, ideally, you go back um, and get like the original intended experience. But I don't think you know. I don't think that you're exactly. I don't think you'll ruin like the series for yourself if you watch this first.
Mhm.
Which is, I mean, probably the goal, right? Um, but yeah, it's solid, I guess.
I'm glad at least they. How do I say this? They managed to make it out of the hole of that sort of remakes, right? That sort of remake sinkhole without being eaten alive by it. Especially considering that it is Higurashi, right? It has
Yeah,
that sort of cult following. It has that sort of iconic. This has to be how it is vibe, right?
yeah, it's tricky, right? Because if you were just rebooting Higurashi,
Right.
um, and you as a studio, you have to make these decisions to like truncate the series, right?
Mhm.
Because you're probably not exactly going to get 50 plus episodes for this. Um, like there's no way that you're going to be able to like cut out scenes and everyone's going to be happy, right? Because for Higurashi fans, like the way that series is paced, like you can't take anything out because
Right.
if you take something out, then that ruins the build up, it ruins the mystery, yada yada yada. Like the Higurashi, the hardcore Higurashi fans are super anal about like every single fucking line of text, right?
Right.
Um, but like I feel like this spin on it is probably a good idea, hopefully. Um, but yeah, it's good to see that like this series isn't being like immediately shit on because they slightly changed up the pacing of the first like arc, right?
Right.
Um, but yeah, I
Okay.
like it.
Yeah. I'm glad that it actually did well instead of falling into that potential trap.
How does it look animation wise? Is
I
it
mean,
like Dean versus UFO Table? I bet
He
it's not.
no,
he
not
said that it was a little bit more, I guess, smooth or less
yeah. I
caricaturistic
mean,
than
Or should
Dean.
I say, is it more like Fruits Basket and Fruits Basket remake?
I guess yeah. I mean, it is technically like on a technical level, it is like better animation. Like it's smoother. Um, the characters are much more visually appealing on the screen. Um, but like in terms of like minor directional decisions, I do feel like the Dean anime does have like a better tone overall for a mystery series, at least so far. But yeah.
Okay. So that was Higurashi again. Thanking you for helping cover that. I know
Here.
it was very how shall I say, the way it came out and the way it was covered was pretty interesting, and I'm glad that we got you to actually cover it properly instead of just being like, yeah, this just seems like another like
Yeah,
it seems like another
Here.
promotional product.
Near, you and I are gonna have a fight later. Which series is gonna win? Mine or yours?
I don't know.
I don't know how that works.
Is Last Encore gonna win against Higurashi remake?
Probably not, bro. Last
Fine,
Encore
fine
sucked
then.
ass.
Yeah, but it's still good to me.
Anyways, thank you, Nia,
Fine
again.
then. You know what? I'll call it now. I'm gonna cover Dragon Quest next week, and we'll see who's the better series.
All right. Well, anyways, thank you, Nir, for covering Higurashi again. Higurashi 2020. So, with that, definitely last but not least, Dark. You have for us.
So I had. Let me pull up the picture. Why not? All right, it's not even. Where is it? There we go. I have Maojo de Oyasumi. And this is being done by. Does it even have the studio here?
Togakobo.
Togakobo, I believe. Yes.
Oh, okay, yeah. I didn't have it scrolled down enough. I could only see the
Which
producers.
explains pretty much 99% of why this looks like this.
Yeah. So anyway, the series is about a princess who gets kidnapped by the Demon King, and her biggest concern is just being able to get to sleep because she has insomnia, and also just like basically the gimmick is just like the various things that go on around in the Demon King's castle.
She's trying to get some good sleep, and then she's trying to think of various ways to get good sleep, and then that leads to comedy slaps.
Yeah. So it's just usually like the gambit appears to be like whether there's something wrong with how she's trying to sleep. Like the first episode, the first thing that happens is she needs like her pillow sucks. So she wants to get something from around the castle to fill it.
Right, exactly.
And then basically that just goes from there to sheets to like location and just like various things happening in the castle that just screws with it.
I really like the sort of pacing and the way the slapstick is presented. I don't know. It's like I mean, it's not like super like different from a lot of other slapstick sort of series that I've seen, but I feel like the pacing of it and the way that it's just like boom, 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 boom. It's like the Princess Brooks no idiots, right? No stupidity. So if something's in her way, she's just like, no, I'm just gonna do this, or oh shit, I just fell into this, or oh, I'm just gonna roam the hallways and get some shit that I actually need quickly. And this sort of pacing is really.
Yeah, I really like the way that they sort of like. It doesn't feel too fragmented, which is nice because there's a lot of different, I guess, chapters that happen in each episode.
Yeah,
so far.
each episode is actually very hefty. I thought it would just be like, you know how some episodic series or some series that are full series but are split into like different mini episodes feel somewhat empty, right? They have three sort of empty. This is this, that's that sort of mini episodes, and then it just ends, right? This thing feels very hefty.
Yeah. I definitely agree. It has a lot in it, but I do feel like it doesn't come off as like super divided, which is nice. Like it does, it feels pretty like standard in that sense. even though it is covering a lot. Trying to think of like really what else. Like, I feel like there's not a whole lot to say. Like, I don't want to give away or explain too much because that's kind of like the fun of it in that sense, like figuring out like, you know, like a quest pops up and it's like, well, how is like what material or what thing is she gonna do?
Yeah, and it's actually really cute, and the narrator is like voiced by Hayami Saudi and stuff like that. And it's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like you got this pillow.
Yeah, so it's quite nice. I would say give it a look if you like. I don't even really know. Like, I would just say give it a look if you like something more, I guess, episodic-ish, just more slapstick type series.
Okay.
As far as audio visuals go, I think they're quite good. Obviously, Doga Kobo, like, to be expected at this point. But the color palette's quite nice. Very, like, saturated, very vibrant. Sort of like I guess you could also say like the music and the voice acting also really does sell a lot of the more like, I don't want to call it wordplay. I guess like dialogue based comedy. They do very well as well. So that's definitely something that is additional, I guess, compared to if you were to just read this. But yeah, it's quite nice, quite fast. Very easy watch as well.
I definitely also recommend it. It's just, I don't know, everything comes together really nicely. The pacing, obviously the audio visuals by Dogo Kobo, just the voice acting too. Also just all done by heavy hitters. The narrators Hayami Saudi. The main character is done by Minase Nori, and you know the hero, right? The blonde haired hero that's supposed to be saving the princess.
Oh,
When
yeah,
I heard that
Yusha.
voice, when I heard that voice, I was like, "Is this like a new young voice actor that I haven't heard of before?" It's fucking Shimonohiro. I was like, "How do you get this voice that high? What the fuck was that all about?" But yeah, everything's done very, very well. It's a very like tightly wound, uh, very well oiled machine. Is how I. Yeah. Anyways, do you have any last words on the series?
Not really. I can't really think exactly of like what I would say. It's definitely better. I don't know. Mal having it at a 7.6 is like really fucking stupid, but I mean it's like Mal memes,
It's
right?
Mal. It's Mal. I
Yeah.
don't.
It's definitely better than like, or one after watching like 2 episodes. It's definitely one of like the better like sort of breakneck in a way. Not break, I don't know. I don't even know if it's like breakneck or whatever. But yeah, it's just faster comedy, which is
Yeah,
nice. Good mix of like,
it's a galloping pace. It's a nice
yeah.
trot. I
And
would
it's a
say.
nice it is a nice mix of like slapstick and more like, but then also it does have like dialogue, more like dialogue comedy.
Right.
And I guess like repetition as well. So overall quite good.
Good. So I guess with that, again, thank you, Dark, for helping cover Maoujou de Oyasumi. I know. I mean, honestly, I really like the series myself, so I'm glad we.
Well, I hate to break it to you guys, but I got bored of this series halfway through reading it.
Well,
Yikes.
it might kind of seem. It definitely might seem a little bit different I would say this is one of the series that would probably seem a lot more different when reading it versus watching it, right? Because when you're watching, there's a
Probably.
lot more like sort of flashes and kind of visual effects and kind of the voices kind of helping you through what's going on. But with the manga, it's just like, yeah, there's a pillow kind of thing, right? So I think there's a
I
lot of bells.
prefer Komi-san.
There's a lot of bells and whistles in terms of the anime that kind of tells the thing.
Yeah, well, I haven't read it. I can
Don't
definitely
read
say
it.
this does seem like a series that is like much better in a lot of ways to like watch, just because of
I'll agree on that.
the speed and the way, and yeah, like you were saying, the way the dialogue is delivered by some of the characters is quite nice, especially like I'm thinking of like the fuck, what was his name? It was like the sheet ghost guy. That was like just like those faster cuts and dialogue are quite nice. So I can imagine it's a lot of like additive in that sense.
Yeah,
But yeah,
pretty good, pretty good. And yeah, so that was again Dark with my Maoujou de Oyasumi. And with that, we are going to cover the. Oh, yeah. So there's going to be one more episode after this that's going to be covering the final stuff for the fall 2020 season. There's still a lot of really good series that we haven't covered, honestly. And I'm loath to almost leave this fall 2020 season, but we do have to do that. One more review show after this, and then we'll go straight into winter previews. Off we go into the races for winter series, and obviously, um, well, actually, with winter series, right? We do have to be. Well, that would be for next year, actually, but we have to schedule that around our usual sorts of how do I say it? The end of the year and the New Year resolution and all that sort of stuff, right? So we do have all those podcasts coming up. So just check up on the social media for the proper updates. So yeah. Anyways, on to the news. We don't have too much in terms of news this time around. A lot of just people getting awards and stuff like that. First off, some numbers. Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba, the movie, Mugen Train, anime film, has sold over 11 million tickets and earned over about over 150 US million dollars as of Sunday, and it's 17th day in the Japanese box office. The film is now ranked at number 10 among all movies that ever opened in Japan, including foreign films, moving James Cameron's Avatar to number 11 with its 148 million dollars.
But
So
is it
damn,
better
bro.
than Spring Song?
So this Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba movie is now the 5th anime film in the top 10 in Japan, after number 1 Spirit Away, number 4 Kimi no Na wa, number 6 Howl's Moving Castle, and number 7 Princess Mononoke. The film ranks just above Ponyo and Weathering with You, or Tenki no Ko, which are at number 12 and number 13 respectively. So that's Japan for you. Next. Anime Log, or Analog, launched its global YouTube channel on Friday. The launch titles are, and it has all these different animes. So, Anime Log describes itself as "quote unquote" Japan's first official anime channel on YouTube that are available for global users and are officially licensed by the cross rights holders of TV anime, and plans to distribute 100 titles within the next year. The channel aims to provide legal content to anime fans overseas while offering Japanese companies and content copyright holders control over the channel. So it's trying to be a middleman, is what I'm thinking, but it's on YouTube, like specifically. I guess that's how it is.
Yo,
I mean,
Golden Eggs, I remember that one.
it kind of seems like a channel for a much older series, but I guess if what works, what works. Oh, if it works, it works, right? So it'll be cool.
Check out Golden Eggs. That one's pretty good.
But yeah, so I guess it's a good start to have a middleman, although I hope none of it will get like sucked down by YouTube AI or anything like that. So that's pretty much the end of non-people news. Going on straight quickly to some people news here. Kodansha awarded Demon Slayer Kimetsu no Yaiba's manga creator Gotoge Koyoharu in its second Noma Publishing Cultural Awards on Monday. The award honors those who have made excellent contributions to publishing, particularly to quote-unquote reinventing publishing. I don't know what that means. Gotoge won the award due to circulation of the Demon Slayer Kimetsu. This isn't even reinventing publishing. This is just him being really popular. So
Yeah,
Kodansha
dude, he
awarded
reinvented
So
giving publishers
popular,
fat
they had to
fucking
reinvent
stacks,
it.
dude.
reinventing money. Cha-ching, baby. So good job, Demon Slayer, in making money. Next, the Japanese government announced on Monday that manga creator Takahashi Rumiko is receiving the Fall 2020 medal with purple ribbon. The thing is, every time they talk about the medal with purple ribbon, I know there's like the name. It's like there's a Japanese name for it, but I also keep thinking of like Purple Heart, and it's just like so much worse version of Purple Heart. To be like, it's a medal with purple ribbon. It's like the Chinese ripoff of like the Purple Heart.
Yeah.
Here's medal with purple ribbon. Anyways, the medal is awarded to quote unquote individuals who have contributed to academic and artistic developments, improvements, and accomplishment. So some past recipients of the honor include Studio Ghibli co-founder Takahata Isao, Matsumoto Leiji, Chiba Tetsuya, Hisai Shijo, Mizuki Shigeru, stuff like that. So a lot of much more sort of historic, famous sort of manga artists and directors of old obviously got it. And now Takashi Rumiko rightfully joins those ranks.
Why hasn't she gotten this before?
I'm not the awards commission,
I mean,
so please do not ask
what
me.
what her? I'll be honest. Renee kind of sucky. Mao better, I guess.
Again, I am
But yeah, Inuyasha and back, that's her good stuff. People could argue that Rama One Half is her best work. I would say my Sony Koku is her best work, baby.
Misoni Koko is definitely one, like pretty much one of her top two iconic works. But yeah, anyway,
my Rumiko Takahashi rating: Inuyasha, my Sony Koku, Rama One Half, then the rest.
anyways, next, the Japanese government announced composer Shigeaki Saigusa Shigeaki, uh, as one of 20 recipients of this year's Person of Cultural Merit honor on Wednesday. Within anime, Saigusa is perhaps best known for composing the music for Mobile Suit Gundam, Char's Counterattack, Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam, and Mobile Suit Gundam ZZ. He also composed the music for Amon Saga, Eyes of Mars, and Catnap, the movie. Blah, blah. So he did obviously a bunch of other stuff. And congratulations again to him as well as the other award recipient I mentioned. One sobering piece of news. I would say Yatsura, yes.
That's her first work.
So one sobering piece of news. NHK reported on Saturday that television and stage actor Kubodera Akira passed away on Friday at the age of 43. Kubodera's cause of death is believed to be suicide. He was discovered unresponsive in his home in Nakano, Tokyo, shortly after noon on Friday. He was taken to hospital, but soon pronounced dead. He did a lot of live action acting in Kamen Rider Blade, Pretty Guardian Sailor Moon, Mobile Suit Gundam, Rebuilds, so forth. But yeah, please wish his friends and family condolences. And with that, we are pretty much done with the news. And we come now to our shoutouts and callouts. Again, shout out is one thing that you want to talk about, praise, give 6 out of 5 stars, whatever, and it can be any person, place, or thing. And call out is obviously the exact opposite, something that you want to rant about, whatever. I think I will go first.
Fire with your shout out and call out.
I'm gonna go with call first, and my call is freaking just all. I want to say this. I was like searching for like computer equipment and so on and so forth, and for setting up for Black Friday, obviously, right? I'm just gonna buy the stuff during Black Friday, and I still want to say that SSDs are pretty freaking expensive compared to uh, regular external hard drives. But even that, like, the only reason I'm searching for SSD solid state drives is because freaking I just need something to last as long as possible without crashing or losing me all my data or whatever. And it's just so hard to find something that is actually pretty decent, like is actually pretty stable and won't, after a couple of months of writing, it won't just crash or whatever or just lose everything. But then at the same time, actually has a decent write speed and won't take 4 hours to copy, a single CD. So my complaints about that. My shout out, huh? My shout out is my shout out is the sensible people in the VTuber community, the people that still like and watch decent translations, for welcoming me back in as I fucking
Fire,
translated.
you don't have to thank me for that. Just make more content.
Anyways, I'd like to thank everybody for welcoming me back in, and I'm gonna be hopefully on a better footing soon. But yeah, that was
Fuck up.
for me. Fuck these
Fire,
people.
how do you feel about Shion's new outfit? I think it's pretty grand.
I've never been too down. I don't think I've ever been like, oh, I don't like any of these outfits. I've liked most outfits from most. It's just that outfits are outfits.
Did you see the animation she gets with her new outfit though? Pretty cool.
Anyways, that was my shout and call, and next is Toast.
Huh? Oh, my shout out. Shion's new outfit.
And your call
Yeah.
out.
No, I'm lying. My shout out is to the two brave souls who watched Heaven's Feel with me. Yeah. Dark, you want to put up the picture of me?
I can't do that on the fly.
You can. I'll allow it. It's my
I gotta. I don't have it.
picture. You want? Give me
I
one
didn't
sec.
save it.
Here. Oh, okay. Shout out to the two brave souls who watched Heaven's Feel for 4 hours with me. Yeah.
Should have just rented the theater, bro.
I looked it up. I asked. I couldn't. The
Oh.
funny thing was, I went to the theater. I walked past, the ticket counter. And there's, you're supposed to have this. What is this? Contactless scanning or whatever for your ticket. No one was there.
Of course.
So I was like, I looked around. I'm like, should I scan my ticket or not? So, but I did scan it because why wouldn't I? I already paid for it. And then I saw some other dudes who came in after me. They didn't have a ticket stub. They walked right in, right past the contactless thing, and they just went to their movie. I was like, okay, damn, I wasted $15 because no one's really. They don't want to touch you.
It's
They just
true
recently reopened.
contactless.
But yeah, it's like no one was there. So I scanned it and I looked at the thing. I'm like, okay. Like, oh yeah, sure. Oh yeah, if you didn't know, movie 3 is on the 18th. Near you in?
I don't think it's showing here, and my theater is closed. Like it's shut down.
You'll know if it's open if you pre-order.
Yeah, my theater is closed. Like
Are you sure?
yes, dude, we are locked down. We're not like America. We're taking the fucking pandemic seriously.
Don't
Yikes.
worry, Near. What's serious is next week's screening. It's gonna be packed theater. Oh boy. Oh boy. That. So if I go missing for 2 weeks, you'll know why.
Uh-huh.
Anyways,
I call out.
yes.
Let's call out that one guy.
Would you like to specify? I know what you're talking about, but okay,
No.
sure.
Well, okay, fine. Well, he deleted his thread, so it doesn't appear anymore.
I mean, it's not like we're gonna show it on the fucking
I will.
podcast stream.
You want it?
No, I just fucking tell us, Toast.
So there's this guy who put a thread on Hololive Reddit, and when something like, "Oh, I was given feedback on Kiara's stream," he's all like, "Oh, I don't want to watch 6 hours of VODs or 6 hours of stream. It's
Can I
too
just-
long."
Can I just do an additional like
Yeah, go ahead.
supplementary call out on top of Toast call out?
I'll allow it.
Who watches like we're look. This isn't even just for like VTubers or whatever, but I guess like this is a little bit more, it seems a little bit more retarded for me when they do it for stuff like VTubers or e-girls or whatever. But like regardless of whatever streamer you're paying attention to, who watches like the entirety of a 7 hour or 8 hour stream? Like
I
who
do.
does this?
Me.
I mean, I do, but I leave it on in like the background or the course.
Like there's
of
one
playing.
thing, yeah, like background noise is one thing. Like if you're entirely like doing something else and you just leave it on the entire time for background noise, like that could be possible. But there's literally like nobody paying attention to like if you're participating in like the VOD or like you're like, oh, this is an interesting event that's going on, or like they're doing a collaboration that's pretty cool. Nobody in their right minds actually like invests their time and energy into the entire like 6 hours. They just watch a little bit and then tune out or mute it or X out, come back later or whatever. I don't know why people complain about like, oh, these streams are so long. Like what? So fuck those people.
He just wanted the 1 hour bite-sized streams that everyone else does because, as he says, he doesn't watch live. He's a functioning member of society, so he doesn't get to watch these live streams full.
What
In
does
the
that
moment.
even mean?
So that means he has a job, which if there was ever a time when you could catch these streams, it's now.
Yeah, if there's any point like first of all, if you're like, oh, I'm a functioning member of society, I don't watch live stream. The world's in a fucking pandemic right now, bro.
Yeah.
I think you can make some time.
Ignore
Uh,
your Zoom meeting. That's
second
what
of
we all
all,
do.
the stream is 8 hours long.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
how do you not have a single window in your day to like tune in live? Like what the fuck?
He was also mentioning something like audio problems. Like, I don't want to have to turn my audio up and then down when watching the VOD because I don't want to bother my neighbors. It's like,
What?
do you have?
I have
Dude,
a
do
fucking
you not know
pair
what-
of headphones. What the fuck?
And then that's what someone said.
Or have a set of walls. I don't know.
And then he replied saying something like, "My headphones are broken." It's like, buy new headphones,
Yeah,
man.
if you're such an amazing functioning member of society, you should be able to pick up some more fucking headphones then.
Apparently, he doesn't know that live streams are live streams. So, sometimes the girls get loud because that's the nature of the game. If that's a problem, then you do have a volume setting, don't you? Use that. And it's like, what kind of untitled person do you have to be to tell another person what to do? Like, you realize streamers are people too. They're not just video games that you play and you own. This is the same thing that
regardless,
Well, you're wrong, but
I just think that this whole like complaining about the entirety of the stream thing is very it's an interesting perspective to have is what I'll how I'll word it. It's an interesting perspective.
Kind of. This is the same type of entitled fan that told Amelia Watson that he, as a member of her YouTube membership, he was disappointed in her for not playing Witcher 3 anymore because of all the other backlash that happened. Except Amelia, called him out on it, and it was pretty cool. Yeah, more Hololive members should do that. Amelia's on full blast. She doesn't take shit. Maybe it's because she's Hololive English. The Chinese aunties don't care about them because they.
All right. Well, let's not
make-
go into. Can we not go into 30 minutes of Hololive stuff? All right.
I like
anyway.
Hololive.
Anyways, thank you, Toast, for your shout out and call out. Near.
Shit, man. I don't know. Fucking.
How's Shadowverse?
It's all right. I mean, it's. I think I said it earlier. I think it's healthier than it's been in a while. But I mean, at the same point, it's still Shadowverse, so it's a very stressful game, very frustrating game. But yeah, I mean, it's fun. I wish I had more vials so I could play more decks. But
The eternal struggle of trading card, mobile trading card games.
yeah. I don't really know what to shout out. Fucking, I don't know. Shoutouts to our boy Joe Biden.
Our boy.
Yeah,
Our
congrats on
boy.
Our boy.
congrats on the big dubs, man.
He hasn't won yet, Near.
God,
Don't count him
No,
out.
that's not true. Trump
Don't-
even tweeted out he won.
Yeah.
Now there was more to the tweet than that, but he did technically say he won,
Trump's
just not conceding.
Trump's speech, was it yesterday, 2 days ago? His like weird COVID update thing was also very very meek in terms of the whole I'm winning by the way thing. But yeah, grats Joe.
Yeah. Near, Trump's not going down without a fight. He
get
still
these-
owns the
this
White House.
bread.
Yeah, not quite.
He'll set some traps, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, he's gonna put thumbtacks on the door frame. But for callouts, shit, man, I don't know. Callouts to Tekken 7 for fucking season 4. It's fucking not great. It's not great. Yeah, not great. Truly the most balanced fighting game, but not really. I'm glad for some ungodly reason they keep buffing Asuka, but also please stop fucking up my character's combo routes. Thank you. It's really fucking annoying. But yeah.
Stuff. So yeah. Dark.
Fuck. I actually have a shitload to potentially shout out. And not a lot to call out, which is the crazy thing. At least not on the top of my head. I'm going to give a shout out to my fucking stupid luck in Genshin. So basically, after I had rolled Venti, I really didn't roll any. I didn't really do any more rolls, I think, in any banner. Just whenever I got the standard thing. So I was maybe within the first 10 single pulls of the new banner for Tartaglia. I got Tartaglia, or rather, well, first I got Keshing, which after what was it, 15 rolls or something? Which I was talking to Nier, and I was like, oh shit, okay, I guess the next SSR, if I roll one in this banner, will be a Tartaglia. And then on the next single pull, I pulled an SSR, So it's Tartaglia. And then I was like, I don't even know why I kept pulling, honestly. I don't remember. But I did. And then I pulled a dupe Dillick within the next like roll or two, I think. I don't remember if it was the next one or if it was the one after that. But yeah, so it amounted to 0.6% chance fucking rolls within like 4 rolls of each other. Which was just absolutely insane. So that was pretty cool. Tartaglia is very fun. The artifact grind is dog shit. So there's that. As far as my call out, shit, man. I don't know. I guess Nier did political. So I'll go the other route of I'm gonna call it these dog shit teammates in fucking Call of Duty Black Ops. They're terrible. No one knows how to play the objective, and I would have a lot more fun if they weren't so fucking bad. Yeah, because that game's cool. The teammates are garbage. Oh.
Okay. So with that, thank you, Dark, for the interesting shadow call. And with that, we are done with the podcast. So again, next episode we'll have our final fall 2020 reviews, and then that'll lead into our winter 2021 reviews, straight into our end of the year podcast, all the hullabaloo that we have there on the standard stuff we have at the end of the year. So it'll be sort of a busy next couple of episodes. So just watch out for that. Again, check for updates on our social media. If you do like what we do, you can check us out here on twitch.tv/4PlayerAnimecast. Follow us here where we live record our podcast every other Saturday starting 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturdays, usually. Today we did this on Sunday, but usually we do it on Saturdays. So check us out here where we talk about the latest and greatest in Japanese animation media, anime, manga, light novels, visual novels, web novels, and so much more. So we put all our highlights of all our podcasts, recordings of all our podcasts in VOD format on Twitch, as well as on YouTube, 4PlayerAnimecast. On either side. Check us out on our social media on Facebook, 4PlayerAnimecast, or on Twitter, handle @4PPAnimecast for more updates on when our episodes are going up, when it's airing, when we're recording, what it's about, so on and so forth. And yeah, we'll see you next time.